I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't buy a HomePod and why you should consider the Sonos One. Right after this.
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back. And for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis and I do tech videos every single week and have a blast doing them. If that sounds fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anything I talk about will be in the description below. But for now, let's get into the video. Timing is everything. I actually was going to make this video about why you shouldn't buy the Sonos One. But then they released the AirPlay 2 update, and that is a game changer. Mainly a game changer for people who are in the iOS ecosystem because really this makes it something that bumps the HomePod right out of your house. So here it is, the Sonos One. This isn't really going to be a straight up review. It's more about why you should have this over the HomePod. But before I can explain that, I got to kind of show you and tell you what a Sonos is. If you don't have Sonos, you're missing out. It's one of the first ever speaker systems that was Wi-Fi many years ago with incredible sound quality, and they did it at a pretty decent price. You can get what's called the Play One, kind of the lower version of this, right now for about 150 bucks, and every once in a while if you get it on sale, even less than that. And it supports all the major music types, you know, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, whatever your pleasure is. But the original promise of this was actually something interesting. They started out with actually, let me not use that name because I know people that are watching this might have an Echo device around and I want to trigger it every single time I say the wake word. So let's just call her Allegra. But it also had the promise of being one of the first speakers with Google Assistant and Allegra built in. Now we all expected Google Assistant to be on there by now, and it's July and it's still not on there. So really it's just an Allegra device. Now the HomePod does have voice control. It has Siri. Siri is like, you know, not as good. If Google Assistant and Allegra are in college, Siri is back in middle school somewhere, lost. And sure, that alone is not enough for you to pick Sonos over the HomePod. And especially since you don't get any kind of Apple exclusive features, you might go, well, I use Apple Music, so who cares? But very recently that changed. AirPlay 2 was added, and this is exactly why it can replace the HomePod. The problem with HomePod is, while it sounds great, it has the quality of sound, it shipped half-baked. And I really blame this on Apple consumers because they accepted everything that Apple put out. Even when innovation stopped quite a long time ago with Apple, people just kept buying more and more. But calling Apple fans sheep is kind of a cop-out too. I mean, they just like what they like. They get products every year. They work really well. They get software updates on the regular. So what's the problem? A sheep would be if someone paid an exorbitant amount of money for something that they know will probably be broken after they buy it.
If you are crazy enough to go ahead and get that fully spec'd out 15-inch model, it's gonna cost you almost $7,000. We do have one issue. The keyboards. They are quieter, as Apple was sure to mention, but they still have the same issues. There hasn't been any new redesign in terms of the engineering of the keyboard itself. So we're still going to have keyboard issues.
I didn't see that coming. So what can you really expect? If you buy everything that Apple gives you, of course they're going to give you a half-baked product, which is exactly what happened. You know you're in trouble when some of the major Apple-loving websites were giving it bad reviews. I mean, when's the last time you heard of a bad review of an Apple product? Well, I remember one. It was the HomePod. And that's a problem. You have to understand that if your loyal fan base is giving you garbage for it, you're doing something wrong. And the HomePod did one thing really well, which was the music. The music sounds amazing on a HomePod. But the Sonos also sounds amazing, and it's really like half the price. So what's the difference? One thing I think is really surprising, and it's actually pretty poor on Apple's part, is the fact that they only support Apple Music. I mean, sure, you're in their walled garden, and I guess they only want to support their stuff, but you have a smart speaker that only does one music service. I mean, it doesn't even have Bluetooth. And let me remind you, the HomePod was last in the smart speakers to come out. They literally got to see the entire landscape, and that's what they came up with. So the Sonos One at almost half the price of a HomePod is a great deal. Now that they've added AirPlay support, if you're an Apple user, this actually makes a lot more sense. You can get almost 2 of these, and if you wait for a sale, you can get 2 of these for the price of one HomePod, which means either left and right audio or put this one maybe in the kitchen and the other one in the bedroom, and you have whole house audio. And you get Allegra. Allegra's awesome. And yeah, you don't get every single feature, but between that and being able to use Siri as well, yeah, you can use Siri with AirPlay. You kind of have the best of both worlds. And if that Google Assistant support ever comes through, then it's kind of a slam dunk. And even better, you can start it with Siri and end it with Allegra. that's something you can't do on a HomePod. But yes, one HomePod does sound better than one Sonos One. But you put two Sonos Ones together at almost the same exact price, and you've changed the game. And you still can use Siri, and you can use it in multiple places, and you might be able to get Google Assistant. And do I need to keep going on? Listen, I'm just here to save you some money and get something good. This thing sounds amazing. The app actually allows you to tune it, which I thought was kind of bunk at first, but when I did it, it actually did sound better. It takes the acoustics of the room and makes it sound better. And these things are amazing. And yes, you can add other things to it. You actually can play your music from your iPad on here using AirPlay support, YouTube, movies, whatever, all through here, just like a HomePod, but better, smaller, easier to put somewhere, and really all the things you really need from a smart speaker. Now, I know you're gonna say I'm an Apple hater or something like that, but watch the review I did on the Apple TV. It was very favorable. And like I've said a million times, I like my phone's Android and my tablet's iOS, iPad Pro for the win. And I know brand loyalty is a thing and it might trigger some Apple fans, but really why? What's the point of brand loyalty? Are they paying you? And if they're not paying you, then why are you so loyal? Like, they're charging you. Shouldn't you be loyal to yourself? I don't know about you, but I'm loyal to the ones that pay me, not the ones I have to pay. If this video helped you out in any way, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it to all your friends. And if it didn't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it to all your friends. I'm here every single week having a blast. Hope to see you again real soon. Peace and love, peace and love.